I'm going to be taking you through the newspapers. The papers are out. It isn't a holiday today, just like it wasn't yesterday. It's just the elections and the tensions and the expectations that's kind of slowed down things a little bit. But the newspapers are out. On the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning, you'd find respect election outcome. 5 political parties appeal to Ghanaians, and it says 5 presidential candidates who took part in last Monday's elections have called on Ghanaians to maintain calm and respect the outcome of the polls. So Henry Latte of the Great Consolidated Popular Party, David Apasera of the People's National Convention, Madam Bridget Akosua Jogbanuku of the Progressive People's Party, Reverend Christian Kwabena of the Ghana Union Movement, and Mr. Percival Kofi Akpalu of the Liberty Party of Ghana. They've maintained that it is crucial for Ghanaians to conduct themselves in a manner that would ensure that the country remained united. Also, equally composed parliaments will enhance democracy, and that's attributed to one of our guests this morning, Dr. Alidu Seidu. They've captured your comments, Dr. Alidu Seidu, in the Daily Graphic newspaper today. Big guns fall in parliament or in parliamentary election and help reduce tension. The Peace Council chairperson is making that call. So I'll take you through some of the names that have fallen. You won't see them back in Parliament. Is on page 26 in the Daily Graphic newspaper. So there's Dr. Bernard Okoboy, who is out. Alhaji Ibrahim Rauf Tanko also out. Professor George Jan Bafo will not be returning to Parliament, as well as Mohammed Abdulaziz of the NDC. Mr. Adam Mutawakilo is also out, the Member of Parliament for Damongo. Daniel Titus Glover will also not be returning to Parliament. Here are some of the new names that we will be seeing in Parliament next year. John Peter Mewu won big in Hohoi. Madame Giselle Tete Agbotri of the NDC also kicking out George Anda in a big way. Mr. Bitzidin is back in Parliament, and it's a big welcome to Samuel Abu Jinapo of the NPP, who kicked out Adam Mutawakilo. So there's a compilation of some of the new persons who will be entering Parliament and some of the old names that have been kicked out as well in the Daily Graphic newspaper. And then it looks like we're going to be having at least the provisional results out. Some more women added to what we already have in Parliament, which is good news for those of us who have been advocating for equal representation in Parliament. So the Daily Graphic, and I'll find that story in a little bit, has put something together. I'll look for it and share. But let's move on and do the Ghanaian Times newspaper front page. Of course, they're also talking about election 2020. Big names fall as new MPs emerges. Sadly, Hajia Alima Mahama also lost, so she will not be in the next Parliament. But arrest prosecutes perpetrators of Ablekuma Central shooting. That's a call by the Ghana Journalists Association. There was a press conference yesterday. The Ghanaian Times has captured that in the paper this morning. Just like the graphic, the Ghanaian Times also has got some of the names that have fallen flat. Newcomers such as Francis Sosu, the Medina constituency, and then, of course, Mrs. Ophelia Hayford, wife of the murdered Member of Parliament for Infantiman constituency, also retaining that seat for the NPP. On the back page is details of that. Ghana Journalists Association call on the Ghana Police Service to arrest and prosecute those involved in the shooting incident in the Ablekuma Central constituency here in Accra on Monday. Here's a quote. What happened at the Ablekuma Central constituency collation center is certainly a dastardly act that must be dealt with promptly and decisively to serve as a deterrent to other hooligans who may want to perpetrate such violence in the future. And that quote is from Mr. Afel Money. And then Parliament retains big names, new entrants, continuation of that story in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. So it's all about the elections. The Finder newspaper front page Only EC can declare presidential results. That's according to Reverend Dr. Edu Jemfi. Eslo also retains Ablikuma West for the third time. The GJA story is also in the final. GJA condemns Collation Center shooting and attacks on journalists. Election was free, fair, and transparent. That's the verdict of election observers Kodale. Chairman Sabonsu also retains seat. Muntaka retains Aswasi seat. NSS boss heads back to Parliament with landslide. Let's move to the Daily Dispatch newspaper, and on the front page it says Organization of the Year, EC Organization of the Year, and Jin Mensah Person of the Year. Some of the MPs who lost their seats featured in today's paper. There's Mr. Yabuabina Samoa Fadenta, George Anda, Miss Afote Kwe, and Dr. Okoboy. And then some of the new faces in Parliament as well. Sheila Battels of the NPP and Miss Dakwa Newman. And then, of course, Abu Jinapo. And then Adamu Ramadan, who won big in the Adenta constituency. But just a little bit of this story, which says, with the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections virtually over, the Daily Dispatch, for the first time in its nearly 23 years of existence, give 2 awards. Okay, so the first is to the Electoral Commission and is for Organization of the Year. The second is to Miss Jin Mensah, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, for Person of the Year. I guess you have to grab the paper to understand what went into that and why it is bent on giving these 2 awards. And let's see if I can do 2 more papers and then I'll head back to Studio 997. So this is the Ghanaian Publisher, and front page, Esla Nitiwu Ajwasafo Apanyo Markin retains seats and Amewu wins Hohoi seat for NPP. Well, really, that will be it for the papers. Let's try and see if I can still fish out that story on the women. But in the center spread of the Daily Graphic, the call by... Okay, so let's just read a bit of it. It says, an electoral violence monitoring, analysis and mitigation election situation room has urged international observer missions in the country to continue to engage stakeholders to help reduce the prevailing tension in the country after a successful general election last Monday. And Chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Edu Jemfi, who is a spokesperson of the group, was speaking at a press conference in Accra yesterday. This was after both the ruling New Patriotic Party and the opposition National Democratic Congress held separate presses claiming to have won the presidential and parliamentary elections. And here's a call by the Methodist, the Bishop of the Koforidua Diocese of the Methodist Church, Right Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Asari Kusi, who's making a passionate appeal to the losers of the presidential election to accept defeat in good faith. Well, here's the thing. The Electoral Commission hasn't announced any winner, and so we don't know of any loser yet. What we know, the numbers, what is telling us right now, and from the Electoral Commission's point of view, there's still 7 outstanding regions, and they're going through the certification processes to give us more information. But they are determined that they will tell us who the winner of the presidential election is later today. So we will be keeping an eye on that. I guess it will be a wrap. But here's a reminder of some of the casualties in terms of the parliamentary elections. Those who will not make it back to Parliament. Of course, we've talked about George Anda, Deputy Communications Minister, Member of Parliament for Ewutu Senya in the Central Region. This is West, yeah. Boniface Sadiq, Minister of State, and also Member of Parliament for Medina here in Greater Accra, not returning to Parliament. He also lost to Francis Sosu in Medina. A lot more names that we will be sharing with you. There you go, the NPP's Member of Parliament for Adenta and its Communication Director, Yabuabina Samoa, also lost. And Deputy Bono Regional Minister and Member of Parliament for Jamai North in the Bono region, Siaka Stevens, will also not be returning because he lost in this parliamentary elections. Yao Afo Deputy Aviation Minister and Member of Parliament for German South in the Bono region also lost. Ali Hamidou, Member of Parliament for Doma West in the Bono region, also did lose in Monday's elections. George Janba, former Minister for Planning and Member of Parliament for Winchi in the Bono region, also did lose, as well as this one, very popular. Major Derek Odro, Deputy Defence Minister, Member of Parliament for Nkranza North in the Bono East region, would not be returning to Parliament in the next session. Charles Kunedu Yadom, Nkranza South constituency in the Northeast region, also lost. Abena Drua Mensa, Asin North constituency in the Central region, also did lose. Barbara Asharisi, some people have said they didn't see this coming. They didn't see her coming the first time in 2016. They certainly didn't expect that she would exit so soon. Deputy Minister for Works and Housing and Member of Parliament for Cape Coast North in the Central region has lost. Francis Kingsley Kujo, Deputy Fisheries Minister and Member of Parliament for Ekumfi in the Central region, also lost. So some of the names and some of them, many of them, the ones I'm sharing with you are also ministers of state. Alexander Aban, Deputy Minister for Communications, Member of Parliament for Gumwa West in the Central region, has lost. Joseph Tete, Deputy Eastern Regional Minister, Member of Parliament for Apa Manya Krobo in the Eastern region, also did lose. We'll be bringing you some analysis on the back of all these casualties. Ebenezer Nate, Member of Parliament for Ablekuma Central in the Greater Accra region, also lost, as well as this one, Titus Glover. Many also say they didn't see this one coming. Deputy Minister for Transport, Tema East constituency, Member of Parliament, will also not be returning to the next session of Parliament. And Joseph Dendiok Benka, Deputy Attorney General, Member of Parliament for Tempani in the Upper East, also did lose. He won't be in the next Parliament. Adongo Frank Fuseni, Deputy Upper East Regional Minister and Member of Parliament for Zibala in the Upper East, will also not be returning to Parliament. Some huge names falling in this particular election, as well as this one. Anthony Cabo, Deputy Roads Minister, Member of Parliament for Laura in the Upper West region, has made way for Bit Zidin, which means he will not be going to the next Parliament. Paul Essien, Deputy Minister for Chieftaincy, Member of Parliament for Jomoro in the Western region, also did fall. He is not returning to the next Parliament. Lots of names. Barbara Tinjesi, Minister for Tourism and Member of Parliament for Prisia, Honey Valley in the Western region. She talks a lot about tourism-related issues. We will not be seeing her in Parliament in the next session. Kofi Amoakohene, Bono East Regional Minister, Member of Parliament for Atebubu Amantan in the Bono East region, will also not be going to the next Parliament. In Tai, in the Bono region, the Member of Parliament, the current Member of Parliament, will not be going back. That's Gabriel Osei. And this is a heartbreaker for some people. Dr. Bernard Okoboy, Deputy Minister for Health, Member of Parliament for Lejo Kuku in the Greater Accra region, will also not be going back to Parliament as he lost his seat in the just ended election. Elizabeth Afolekwe, Fisheries and Aquaculture Minister, Member of Parliament for Krowo in the Greater Accra region, lost. Hajia Alima Mahama, Local Government and Rural Development Minister, Member of Parliament for Nalerugo Gambaga in the Northeast region, also one that is absolutely heartbreaking. She's not returning to Parliament. Okay, so many were expecting that some of these women would remain in Parliament and we'll have a lot more coming to join them, but some of them have fallen. Michael Jato, Deputy Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation, Member of Parliament for Krachi East in the Oti region, also did lose, as well as George Odro, Deputy Agric Minister, Member of Parliament for New Edubiase in the Ashanti region. Some of these persons, well, the people on the ground will tell you that they did some work. They did some good works on the ground, but it looks like it's not just what you physically see in terms of the infrastructure that's provided in some constituencies that the constituents are perhaps looking for. Maybe there's more to becoming an MP than development physically that people would see. Let's see what Clara would say about the big names in terms of the women that are not going back to Parliament, such as Haji Halima Mahama. And Dr. Ali Seidu will also be speaking on this matter. Let's go back to Studio 997. Kojang Singh is standing by.
And Dr. Seidu have to say about the big names that dropped, and boy, were they big. So, yes, we've just gone through all the headlines with Mamavi, and we're going to settle for a bit of discussion of a few of the stories, am I right? Which one caught your eye?
Big names for as new MPs emerge.
Clara?
In fact, the same thing, but then there's also help reduce tension from the Peace Council.
Absolutely.
Chairperson, yes.
Yeah. And look, when the election is over, we've all got to eat, right? So
Exactly.
we'll talk about the economic reality that awaits the next government. All of that to come on your election headquarters after these messages.
Hey, Charlie, check this.